Hey, childcare business owner. I'm so excited to just talk to you for a few moments because here's what happens typically for me. I am an existing, current childcare business owner of two early childhood education programs with 250 children and almost 40 staff. And I'm in it. So I know what it feels like. I know what's required. I know what's happening in the industry because I experience it as well. And just because I coach and consult other childcare business owners does not mean that I don't experience a lot of what I'm teaching. And so what I love to do is I love to share the strategies that I'm literally using. So it's always real strategies that I am teaching. And a lot of times in my programs, I am sharing something that I had done this past week or something that happened today, and I teach them how to navigate it. And so I want to share with you a couple of things that's current in the industry now and what's happening and what I've created to help other childcare business owners how to navigate it. And so that's what I want to share with you today because it is related to the Childcare Business Accelerator Program, which is my favorite program. That's where most of my clients, they go into, and I get to work with them now for 12 weeks. And so I wanted to give you some behind the scenes information as well as what's going on right now in the childcare industry. So one, I don't have to tell you this. I don't have to tell you about the staffing crisis. Right? We experience it not just in childcare, but we go into stores. I know I have. I go into stores and either we see self-checkout or it's like one staff person working the counters. And I'm like, where's the people? It's a staffing crisis in general. And so one thing, and this is one of the modules in the 12-week accelerator program, is how do we recruit staff? But also one of the more important parts that we don't talk about enough, in my opinion, is how to retain staff. Because sometimes we can put so much attention into getting new people that we don't work on keeping the people that we have. And so there's a number of strategies that I've created personally in order to create a positive work environment so that people want to be here. This industry is not easy. It is not easy caring for other people's children, working with families. We don't know what the day will bring, but it is very rewarding. And so something that we cannot look past is, does someone want to work with you or for you or alongside you? Why should they work with you? And let me tell you this, it's not just about money. It is not just about money. There's other factors that people look at, and work environment is definitely one. How effective are you in communicating? When they come to work for you, are they having a proper orientation, or are they being thrown into a classroom and now they're overwhelmed, they don't know what to do, and at some point they get written up, or now they're in trouble, but they really weren't trained, and you don't have time to train them because you have 10,000 other hats that you're wearing. Or you may have staff who you know they aren't a good fit, but you need people. And so because we have to cover ratio, we keep people. And sometimes they're not a good fit for us. And so we don't look at what's our culture, who are we, what's our mission, what's our vision, and are these people aligned to it? Right? And so that is really important, no matter how much we think it's just about, I'm just going to pay more. Sometimes the environment is so, I'm sorry, I have to say it, sometimes it can either be toxic or overwhelming, or it's just chaotic. And so people are just like, I can't, it's just not worth it. And so what practices are you putting in place that will help everyone understand what the expectations are? What can they expect when they walk in? What are they supposed to do? What's the reward system? What benefits are available that you can afford? Right? All of those things are really a part of the environment that you have. I am talking about home child care providers. I'm also talking about centers, right? This is all the same. If you have one employee, this applies. If you have 100 employees, this applies. So that's one, just really thinking about what's going on with my staffing and why. Now, I'm not saying it is easy to recruit, because trust me, it is not. This was the first year that we actually was within 2 weeks of the school year, and I still needed 2 teachers. I am usually always fully staffed. I'm all set and ready, but we were hustling to get teachers at the last minute. I had resumes. They weren't a good fit from the education standpoint because we have requirements. They didn't have enough experience, or they just didn't fit who we were. And so the pool of candidates are different. But do you have an interviewing process? Do you have questions already that you ask, and depending on the role and depending on the conversation that you ask these other questions? Are we screening to make sure that we call and just to verify that they've worked somewhere and would you rehire again? Right? There's some processes in place that we need to have. Another timely topic, of course, is enrollment. Here's the thing. I was telling a client the other day, the truth of the matter is years ago, we could just be here and the people would come. It is a competitive landscape right now where people have choice over choice over choice. You have in 1 block radius or in 1 mile radius, numerous childcare programs, home programs, group programs, centers, nonprofits. You have all kinds of competition. And so families have choice. How are they going to find you? And then why should they choose you? So marketing is a conversation that we have to have. We have to get so creative. Gone are the days where we just put out a flyer, we just post them up and wait for them to come. Gone are the days where I don't have to have a marketing budget. They're just going to come because, I put the flyer up. I post it on social media that I have spots. I promise you it's not enough. We have to really, really get creative because we have to cut through the noise. That's the truth of the matter. Social media is busy. People are busy, and you have to catch their attention. And it has to be a matter of, oh my goodness, I really want my child in that environment. Oh my goodness, I'm willing to pay this amount because that's where my child needs to be, or that's where my family needs to be. Because we're also not just talking to children, right? We're talking to the parent, and we also want to make sure that we are serving families, right? So there's strategies that we can put into place to increase our enrollment. But just like I mentioned with staff, we are not only looking to recruit all new people, we have to hold on to the families and children that we have. So there's a balancing act. And so how will you be able to increase enrollment? Here's the other part we sometimes don't talk about. We put out flyers, we do all of this marketing, and we do a great job at it because now we're getting calls or people are stopping in. Let me ask you this. Are you ready to receive the 10 additional children looking to enroll now? Meaning, what is your enrollment process? Do you have your applications ready? Do you have funding sources that you have to get approvals, or you have to make sure that they have subsidy? Or do you have the proper private pay rates that's going to cover the expenses? We want to be above break even. We want profit. So have you identified what those numbers are? And so now we have 10 families at the door and they're ready to enroll. What does that process look like? Who's doing the enrollments? What, do you have a compliance checklist? Do we know what paperwork each family needs in order to start? Do you have the teachers to care for them? Right? This is a whole process. And so we want to be prepared for the increase, because the increase sounds good. It's like, I need all of these enrollments. And sometimes we don't know how many enrollments we need in order to meet our expenses, but also make above and beyond that so that we can make a profit. Here's another question. Are you getting paid? Right? Like, we are the CEOs. We are the childcare business owners. We are employees, and we need to be getting paid as well. Right? And so those are things that we really need to think about. I'm going to give one more. Do you have systems in place And it's similar to my ask around the enrollment, right? Are there processes that when staff come in and they're working and when are lesson plans due? Do they have a lesson plan template? Is there an employee handbook? Is there a family handbook? What does your orientation processes look like? Are you evaluating staff? Are you making sure that your health and safety requirements are done? Do you have a checklist to make sure that your program, your facility, your home is safe for children? Right? There's some things that we have to have in order. Let me turn my screen real fast, right? You see these file cabinets? Yes, that's full of stuff because you see all that back there? We got folders, binders, all that. Those are systems too. So please don't think that I'm just talking about this expensive technology, because it doesn't have to be. There are ways that we put together systems that even if the system is families, you come in, you sign out, you bring your child in the classroom, they wash their hands, right? That's a system. We just need to make sure that we're clear about it. We know what it is, we communicate it, and we're consistent with getting it done. I was telling a client, I was reviewing handbooks for them because I want to make sure they have systems in place. A handbook is a system. And so I'm gonna give you one of my secrets, right? Having a handbook is step one, right? We have to create the handbook, and that's very important. But let me say this. Please do not have a handbook that, I was going to say, a lot of times we do borrow them, right? We find one or someone shares one, and that is, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So no problem with getting a template from someone. But here's the thing. The content that's in the handbook, do you really follow that? Is it really applicable to your business? We don't want cute information in the handbook that's not reality when someone works for you or when they enroll their child. It needs to be something that we're literally implementing. And if we're not yet, that's okay. Let's just not put it in there yet. Maybe that's the goal for next year. So for now, I don't care if your handbook is 5 pages, as long as it really tells the message as to what they can expect, what you expect from them, and what they can expect from you, and what it looks like when they enroll or when they work for you. Let's start there, and then we build it. But we don't want a handbook, a 50-page handbook of stuff that we just never do, or we don't even know what's in the handbook. I'm telling you because I was there, okay? I am not judging. But I wanted to highlight a couple of things that I know is happening right now. And then I'm going to wrap it up by talking about the finances side, right? We're a business. We cannot run our businesses without finances. Now, if you know me, you know the background story. You know that my mother has been doing this for 45 years. And so I know firsthand what it's like to start a childcare business, and it's built on our hearts, and it's built on love, and I love children and I love families. We do. But these doors here cannot stay open without finances. So here's my question to you. Have you calculated how much it actually costs you to care for the infants that you serve? Do you know how much it costs you to care for the young toddlers, the older toddlers? Do you know how much it costs for you to care for the preschool children and the school-age children? That's important, because here's what I'm hearing is that there's programs that charge $100 a week. Again, no judgment. If $100 a week brings you the money that you need to pay your bills and pay yourself and have a profit or whatever you desire, then $100 work for you. If the program down the street charges $150, you're like, I'm going to charge $150 too. But do you have a master's degree? Does your teacher have certification and experience? Right? We're not really apples and apples, right? Like sometimes it's not a match, and we can't just say, I'm going to charge $125. It has to be based on something. And so it's this thing called true cost of care. And we do these calculations, and we understand how much it costs us to care for children. And then we say, okay, I know what my break-even point is. And a break-even point means here's how much it costs me to run my business, right? Utilities, overhead, payroll, all that stuff. And then maybe you say, I want to be able to pay my staff, pay myself, whatever. And maybe I'd like a profit of $500 a month. I'm just throwing a number out there. We have to do it that way in order for us to create tuition rates that make sense, that allows us to stay in business. And that's the thing, sustainability. That's what I teach. And so I wanted to bring those things up because sometimes we don't talk about it. We don't talk about, it's really overwhelming to make ends meet. If you know my story, you know, I remember when my mom and I didn't put ourselves in payroll. Where's my calculator? I was calculating the payroll. I don't know where I put it. I was calculating the payroll and I was like, Mom, you and we're going to have to wait for our payment. We're not going to be able to get paid just yet. And so that is a reality. Okay. And so I want to make sure that you know exactly what it costs you to care for your children. All right. And so I just highlighted a couple of things that's going on in the industry, just a couple, but each and every one of those things I mentioned, we cover in the 12-week Childcare Business Accelerator program. We do. We spend 12 weeks covering all of these topics, and I listen to what questions, what concerns, what experiences you have. And I also ask each participant what your goals are, because even though we have this curriculum that I created, I also serve you. And the people that I've had in the program thus far, they have been those looking to grow from a home program to center, people who are looking to just grow their enrollment, hire more staff. I have people who may have 2 or 3 centers and they are really looking to grow and they need some systems in place. I had a woman call me one time and was like, I've been doing this for 20 years, but I'm so overwhelmed. I have to do it differently. I need some systems. And I was like, no problem. I've got you. I've got you. So everyone is not in the same place, and that's okay. But we start from the beginning. We start from the beginning because I need to be clear that you have a mission statement, that you have a vision, and all of these things are clear, because if you're not clear, your staff aren't clear. Your families are not clear. And then how can we really run a high quality childcare business that's going to be around for years, that may be your legacy, meaning you want to pass it down to your child or your children or family, or do you want to sell it? Right? It's so many conversations we can have. I can be here all day, but I'm going to wrap it up there. The purpose of this was to really highlight some things that's going on now. I know I get a lot of phone calls. I get asked a lot of questions, and these are the type of things that are mentioned to me even in my accelerator program. And so one more thing I'm going to say. I don't know if you have a virtual assistant, if you even know what it is. I start teaching my childcare business owners about that too, because the whole goal of my program is to help you increase your revenue, reduce expenses, add in systems, but also be able to buy your time back, right? Because sometimes we're wearing so many hats, we can't run our business, and we're working in it and we can't work on it. And so I want to be able to help you do that. We are recruiting for our next cohort. It's the last cohort of the year. And so we're starting October 9th. All right. I want you to definitely think about what was shared in this video. Did it hit home for you? Right. And so I'm taking calls. We can talk about it. I can answer your questions. We are enrolling now. You can just start with a deposit, and I have payment plans. But here's the thing. I'm talking to a lot of childcare business owners, and they want change. And honestly, the only way we see change is if we make some changes. And it starts with you. It does start with you. But here's the thing. I've got you. I've got you. And so if you know that you want to be a part of this program, and you know that you're looking for serious change, you need to do something to turn your childcare business around, or you just want to grow it, or you want to make more vacation. You want to take more vacations in the next year. Listen, we cover all of that. And so I really hope this was helpful. Let me know. Just send me an email. Let me know what was helpful, what questions you have. Book a call. It just takes about 15 minutes and I can share with you what it is. You can set up a deposit and you can be one of the 20. I want to make sure we have a great community that can really help one another. And so outside of me teaching, I have one-on-one accountability calls to make sure I'm supporting you. We have an online portal with all of the recordings and all the resources. I give out so many resources for you to use in your business. Templates, things that you take away with you. And so you still have access to the portal for a whole year, even though the program is 12 weeks. All right. And we're also going to have an in-person event that I'm going to invite you to. So listen, you want to be a part. That's it. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. I'm going to let you go, but I hope to see you soon. Aaliyah Johnson Roberts, your childcare kid turned childcare business coach, and I'll see you soon.